Another exciting day in Alaska. Had a little bit of bad news today. We were hoping to go halibut fishing, but the seas are very high, very rough. And when you go out halibut fishing in rough seas, somebody is liable to get seasick. And unfortunately, the seas, we were told this morning, are a little too high for us to even go out. But we were undaunted. We had another great breakfast cooked by Chef Jay. And that was a great way to start. And then we decided we're going to head on down to Homer and just look around. Headed on an adventure. I don't even know. I know basically where we're going. We're going to Homer, which is at the very end of the Kenai Peninsula. And Homer is a harbor area, a lot of ships there. And one of the things that it's famous for is the show Deadliest Catch is filmed out of there. And which means in certain times of the year, the weather is pretty rough, the seas are pretty high, and it's a little nasty. Now, I've gone out of Homer before halibut fishing and went out with my daughter Jenny and we schlocked them. And that's fisherman's talk for we got some really big fish, great memories and so on. So today we're following our buddies, Jay and T-Ray and Jay's son Jason, and we're on an adventure. We've got gear for fishing, we've got cold weather gear, we've got rainy weather gear, so we're ready for anything, and I can't wait to see what's about to happen. All right, brother, explain what we got here.
We're on the outlook view of Ketchimack Bay. We're now about 35 miles south of the lodge, heading down the Kenai Peninsula to the tip. We have this region of water is called Ketchimack Bay. Today, as we look down through Ketchimack Bay, you see many little different islands. There's nooks and coves. In fact, the room that the guys are sleeping in, Chinapoot Bay, is right back there.
Okay.
The real interesting part of this whole bay is that stretch of land right there. It's called the Homer Spit. You can see that jetting out?
Yeah.
The Homer Spit has the small boat harbor, and it's a natural spit. It's not man-made. It's man-reinforced. But at the end of the spit is where the region and all the little boats that you see out here dotting in the water are all harbored there. This is an ice-free port. From the Nilchik down, there's ice in the water from the Nilchik up to Anchorage. From the Nilchik south, boats can come in and out of here all winter long because it's ice-free.
Why is it ice-free?
I believe it's from the tidal actions up north, where if you look at a satellite image, you'll see from the Nilchik north, the water's gray, muddy, and brown.
Right.
And it might have the influence of the fresh water from the Kenai River that impacts that. And then further down, it just gets chunky, and then we can fish out of here for crab and everything all winter long. Right.
And this is where the TV show Deadliest Catch comes out of, right?
There's a boat called the Time Bandit, and it is harbored here. The guys are local, the Hillstrands. They live in Homer here. Okay. And their boat comes in harbor every now and then, and a pretty fun deal.
Nice, nice. Can we go down and see the spit?
We can go down and take a look at the spit. You bet. Onward.
Let's go spit. The harbor in Homer is an amazing place. You've got these huge boats, little boats, all different kinds, fishing boats, some that, man, I wouldn't go in a small pond in, but guys are going out onto the ocean with them. And the harbor itself's got these giant pillars or piers, and that literally the seas can rise and fall 26 feet with the tides, and the boats are still safe in there. What a place. It can get real rough out here if you're out on one of the halibut boats, but just got an update. We're going out. This should be interesting.
You're not going to beat me at football? I'm a football coach.
Foosball table?
Foosball table? No spinnies.
No, don't spin.
Okay, game on. You will. Oh, Father, please tell him about my foosball skills. I don't even have to play the other players. I can beat you from goalie.
We got a big talker here or what?
Oh, this no.
Someone can smack on. Ow!
You see what kind of head it needs to fill that big fat hat? That is fat head
I'm
talk.
just talking Texas, baby.
A very important virtue for men to understand is that of work ethic. Work ethic. Now don't run away. Hear me out. Work ethic. The word for work in the New Testament is the word ergon, and it literally just means work or the work of your hands. And there's an amazing scripture. It's always been, it's really gripped me, and it's in Ephesians 2:10, and it says this: "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which were created in advance." And now get this, we are God's workmanship. And that whole passage means we were formed by a master craftsman. So if you ever wonder, do I have value? Is there value in me? And sometimes we see ourselves in the worst possible light. And God said, no, you don't understand. You are God's workmanship. So this amazing, the one that created and fashioned the heavens and the earth and the universe and the ever-expanding universe, fashioned man, male and female, man. And he said, man, this is a masterpiece. That's pretty powerful. It's pretty cool. So God himself shows us that he has a work ethic. God knows how to put things together. And work defined, I guess scientifically, it's the amount of energy that goes into causing something else to move. And as men of God, we are called to move things. We're called to move things. Now, you may work with your mind, you may work with your hands, your back, your strength, or both. One is not better than the other. It just depends on what your calling is. But I know this, we're all called to work. And there's a problem today with way too many people, way too many men, and that is that work has become something to be shunned. Work is not something that we embrace. It's not something that we pursue, but we really should. And all too often today, men, young men, old men, any age, are becoming slothful. They're becoming sloppy. The kind of work that's done today often is not that of a master craftsman. And I hate to say this, but I've had the opportunity to work with a number of Christian organizations, businesses, etc., individuals, and I don't see a difference between the Christian business and the secular business in terms of the quality of work or the amount of work that's done. Now, that should be absolutely never said. The man of God should produce high quality work, a tremendous amount of work, and should work joyfully. And we're going to have to get that back down into our character, into our nature, if we're really going to be successful. You watch a lot of outdoor shows on television, man, you see people pulling in fish left and right and smiling faces and boats flying down rivers, and that's all good. But what you often don't see is the amount of work it takes to get ready to go fishing. And it's a great thing to understand. You have to get your rods and reels and lures and line ready. If you want to eat while you're out there, you've got to make lunches. There's just so much you have to get prepared for. And then if you want to capture it on film, our crew has got to get all their stuff ready. They've got to make sure that they've got the cameras rearing to go, the right lenses. You got to prepare the vehicles so you can shoot out the vehicles. There's just so much to be done. So when you see us smiling and catching fish later on, just remember, there's a lot of work that goes into it. The Bible talks about if you don't work, you don't eat. Well, in our case, if you don't work, you don't fish. Work is something to be pursued, not run away from. This isn't like the cartoon Sad Sack where he's always trying to dodge work. Work is something that the man of God should look for. So here are some benefits. Number one, it's part of your present calling. Wherever you are right now today, you're called to be there. How do you know that? Because I know that God said, a man plans his ways, but the Lord directs his steps. So you continue to plan, but what you'll often find is you may be directed elsewhere, but it's part of your present calling. Number two, you create wealth for yourself. You generate money through your work. Money's a good thing. Oh, but money's the root of all evil. The scripture does not say that. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay? I don't love money, but I really like having some. I like Paul. I've been in a place where I had a lot and where I had a little. I liked a lot better. Oh, that was good. Okay? So money is good because you can pay your bills. You can not be a reproach to other people when you can't pay what you're supposed to pay. You can take care of your immediate family and extended family. This is an honorable thing to do. We need to think in terms of the generations. Clearly, we take care of our children, but there are times we have to care for our parents, and work allows us to do that. Another thing is this. Work provides a challenge. We've got to be challenged, men. We can't just kind of drift through life. We've got to be challenged, and work can provide a challenge. It provides relationships as well. I work with great people, both in the ministry and in the corporate world. They enrich my life because of the relationships that we can have. So work does some really good things. It can give us a sense of purpose as well. I know some people that have more money than they know what to do with. And they're constantly searching around for something new to do, something to kind of stimulate their thinking. They've chosen not to work, so they're just looking to be entertained. What a sad commentary, not to develop their work ethic. Another thing is work provides respect. Men are respected. I don't care if you've got a phenomenal job or a horrible job. A man that gets up in the morning or gets up in the evening, if it's an evening shift, and goes to work faithfully and provides for his family, that man is respected. That's a good thing. Work ethic provides a lot for us. So work is a great, great thing. We've got to start teaching our young people how good it is to work, all right? When you're giving young people everything, it feels right, it feels good, it feels like we're being a blessing. We're not. If we do it too much and too often, it's a curse. Young people need to learn to work.
Hey, welcome aboard. We're aboard the Miss Amy today. This is Captain Rich Federhoff, owner and skipper of today's vessel. He has water skis underneath. We'll be water skiing out to, well, maybe not water skiing, but it's a nice day out here in Homer. So
Beautiful.
welcome aboard.
Rich, thanks for having us, buddy.
Good to have you.
We appreciate it, man. Well, this is pretty cool to be back here, coming out of the harbor in Homer, the Homer Harbor. And this is a new boat for us. So the goal is to get out there a ways and see if we can find some halibut and some of the best eating you've ever had. It's like white steak, just awesome. So it's a unique way of fishing them. There's not a whole lot of casting like that. If you did, you'd probably knock yourself out, as we'll see. The sinkers are huge. But this is good stuff, man. Good stuff. So Jason, what do you like about your dad? Tell me how much you love your dad.
My dad he's cool
Yeah.
and he's crazy. And I think the crazy is what makes him unique and different and special. He doesn't necessarily care as much about what everyone else thinks, but he really does want to bring other people into the Creator's presence. And I think he found that in Alaska, and he wants to share that with other people. So he's dedicated his life to getting people up here and creating experiences where others can experience God.
What does your dad mean to you personally?
Well, I wouldn't be here without him.
Good.
I wouldn't have the name that I have without him.
True.
I have a constant reminder that I am Jay's son.
Yeah.
I think that is a cool legacy to carry on. And just he set up different rules for me and for our family than maybe other kids, or expectations that they are given by their fathers. My dad wanted me to go out and do what I needed to do. That was it.
Yeah.
There was nothing else attached to that. What does the Lord have for you? Go do that.
Nice.
Whether that's here, or whether that's in Africa and we never see you again, whether that's out at the sea, you can go do that too. So I had the complete freedom to go find my space and exist there, and I'm still going through that process.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you kind of like your pop.
I do. I love the guy.
Awesome. Thanks, man. When you fish for halibut, you use some really interesting gear. You got a really stiff rod and a big reel, and sometimes because of the tides, the sinker is literally 4 pounds of lead. It's just huge. So you take these, either a fish head or a big piece of fish, you drop it straight down 70, 80, 90, 200 feet, you put it on the bottom, and you just wait. And pretty soon, along comes the halibut. The other technique is called jigging, where you've got a lure about so big, you put a little piece of herring on there, drop it down to the bottom, and then you just use a gentle motion up and down, waiting for a fish to strike. Hey, it wasn't long before we started getting bites. Fish on, baby. Yeah, lead on. Yeah, I'd say that was lead. All right. Thought it was a hot dog. All right, that was exciting though, I gotta tell you. That was a test for you guys. I just wanted to make sure the camera guys were ready, okay?
Did they pass?
Yeah, they passed. I knew it wasn't a fish. I knew. The fact that my voice changed 3 octaves higher, no, just kidding. Hey, look at here.
We've got dinner! We have got dinner! I've never kept a fish that small, but tonight is dinner.
Yeah. This is a halibut. Now what's cool, it's not the biggest one you're gonna see.
Whoa!
No, this is, oh, I think I lost him. We started pulling in halibut. It was really exciting, but that sea kept tossing us around.
That's better.
I think the bait.
All right, this is what their young look like. This is not a real halibut. Yes, it is. And I thank the Lord for every fish that we get, all right? This cute little guy, you see his eyes on the same side of his head. They're white on the underside. That's the side that's down on the mud flat, and then they're dark on the top.
Another monster.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, those are all good sandwiches.
So beautiful. So pretty.
I'm thinking about filleting those. Seriously.
Let's do it.
Yeah, keep it.
When I'm on a boat with other people, I'm doing two things. I want to make sure everybody's okay, keep them safe, and beyond that, I want to know how they're doing. And I look for a couple things. Number one, people tend to get a little quiet if they're getting queasy. They go from, hey, this is fun, to a little quieter. The other thing is, do they stop smiling? Yeah, if they stop smiling, yeah, that's an indicator. The final one is, do they stop moving around? So if you see somebody that's lost their smile, if they're pretty quiet and they're not moving around much, those are telltale signs that seasickness has come for a visit. Okay, so Reid wasn't feeling really well. Now he says he wasn't feeling well before he got on the boat. All sailors say that. But he had all those telltale signs, and we, because we're loving men that care about one another, we said, please let us help you through this exhausting experience. Nah, we didn't. We were harassing him. We're guys. It was fun. For us. Sorry, Reid. Sustenance.
You're the cookie monster, Brian. You're a monster.
Brian, you are a monster.
This is excellent. Have you tried one? No? Okay. A lot of times, a great big box of milk about, 18 ounces of milk, and you dunk this in there, you pull it out, it's soggy, it's kind of dripping. I know that looked cruel, but I'm telling you, when you're seasick, the best thing you can do is we call it chumming, just kind of get it over with. So really, we were just trying to help him. So here we are in Ketchimak Bay, fishing out of Homer. We've landed some lunkers. Unfortunately, the camera guy wasn't on it, and they got off right at the boat side. I lied, okay. But you know what I like? We get the manliest guys on our crew. They can handle air, land, water. There's nothing that stops these guys. They're not fazed by anything. So Reid, I just want you to tell our viewers, how you feeling?
Not too good right now. I think it's a countdown.
It's a countdown.
It's a countdown.
What'd you have for breakfast?
Well, some delicious.
I mean, what are we going to see again? And sausage, and what else, son? What else did you have?
Lots of good stuff.
Yes. All right, to be fair, Reid's not the only guy that ever got a little seasick on this show. I remember a time back in Puerto Rico when old Cody did a little chumming for us. Flashback time. Okay, so after a while, Captain Rich had mercy, and we left the rather choppy seas. We went into the harbor. Okay, now halibut are generally some pretty big fish. And I confess, we didn't catch the biggest ones that were out there. Okay, they were pretty small, but at least you got to see us catch some fish. Hey, the last time I was here with my daughter Jenny, and man, did we have a time, and we caught some halibut that were pretty, let me show you. We finally pulled into the harbor, and I just got to reflect on what an awesome day it was. It was phenomenal. We caught fish, we had a great time together, and I was really sad to see that day end.